I was speaking with my friend Mr. Esparza in Seattle. We're having an owner-to-owner dialogue. We're doing a bit of a deep dive on, how's business? How are our reps doing? How's the client? What's the product like that we're selling? So it was very interesting. And so, we're talking about how we're getting the reps ready for battle. And really, as an owner, that's what we do. There's a battle going on, whether it's retail or residential or B2B. Last I checked, there are more no's than yeses in the field. So there is a mental battle. There's mental warfare happening every day for our reps. And as owners, we have to prepare for battle, of course. And so as we're talking, the subject of, how interested are our people or how committed are our people? Those are two very different things. Somebody being interested to go to the gym versus committed to going to the gym. Very, very big difference. And so it made me think of, how Stephen Covey articulates it in, the 8th Habit. I've referenced this book a few times now. I'm a big fan. Going from effectiveness, the 7 habits, of highly effective people. So going from effectiveness to greatness. It's a very interesting book. And he talks about the 6 choices in the workplace. Okay, so here are the 6 choices that he outlines in the book. There's, at the lowest level of interest or commitment is rebel or quit. All right, so obviously we've all seen reps at this lowest level of interest. They're rebelling or they're quitting, they're turning over. Then there's malicious obedience. Not much better. Imagine having an army of reps that are maliciously obeying, they're going to the field. No, they're very quickly going to get to the rebel or quitting stage, obviously. And so then you're moving up the ladder to, willing compliance. Again, an army full of reps, willing compliance. Yeah, that's not really what I want. Now we're going up the ladder here. Cheerful cooperation. Hey, that's better. Cheerful cooperation. There's good attitude. We got a little bit of an atmosphere happening. Okay, this is great. Swimming upstream. Heartfelt commitment. There's that big C word I'm looking for. Okay, now we've got heartfelt commitment. You've got a great atmosphere with reps that are thinking like that. And of course, Covey puts the highest level of creative excitement, right? What a great atmosphere, creative excitement. And I want to offer one more level. Not that I'm any smarter than Stephen Covey, but I'm just, from my personal experience, there is one level higher, and that's conviction. Right? When you're convicted, conviction is a firmly held belief. If you're going into the field on a daily basis with conviction, you are at a whole different level. So let's get into this a little bit. So people with conviction are at a whole different level. That's what I'm saying. So what do I mean by that? Well, let's start off just talking about the very basics of sales, right? New people coming in, feel free to share this little chart that I observed many years ago. Somebody was explaining sales to me with these 4 different quadrants, made a ton of sense to me. So let's take a look at this chart here. So on the vertical axis, you've got people don't like you, and you've got people like you, okay, going up and down. On the horizontal axis, you've got people need it, customer needs it, okay, the product or the service, and you've got customers just don't need it. Okay, so let's talk about the first box here. Customer does not like you and the customer does not need it. Well, that's an obvious no-go, okay? That's a no sale all day long, duh, right? Everybody knows that. Let's look at the next category here, which is the customer actually does need it, but the customer doesn't like you. They don't like the salesperson. It's a no every time. So it's interesting, right? So the customer doesn't need it, the customer does need it, and in both scenarios, it's a no sale because they just don't like you, the sales rep. So let's move on. Then you've got the customer who they need the product and they like you, they like the salesperson. Well, that's a yes every time. Everybody knows that. And then the big question mark here is, what about the customers that they like you, but they don't need the product? How do we deal with those customers? So I'll ask the question. If the customer likes you, but they don't need the product, could you make that sale? Anybody who's a great sales rep is going to nod, be like, yeah, all day long I can make that sale. New people watching kind of like, yeah, I don't know. This may be the rub of what gives salespeople a bad name. Because if you're selling somebody a product or service that they don't need, but you've suckered them in, right? Because you're charming, they like you, your 5 steps is on point. That's not the business we want to run. I don't want to sell a product to somebody that doesn't need it, even though I could. There has to be a level of integrity. Again, think of the name of the game here. The name of the game is you want to scale. You want to create an army of people. I don't want good people taking a look at our business, be like, yeah, just not for me. Sales just isn't for me. I don't want to push products on people that they don't really want or need. And so again, here's where conviction comes in. I'm going to tell you a little story. So years ago, when I'm new in the business, I'm working on a golf course promotion called the Golden West Golf Course. And I'm knocking on doors residentially, and I'm hearing from customers, oh man, I'd never go to that golf course. That place sucks. I'm like, oh, okay, let me go on to the next door, right? Oh yeah, that golf course sucks. That golf course sucks. Well, after enough of hearing this golf course sucks, I decided, well, maybe I should go take a look at this golf course that I'm representing. So I drive down to the Golden West Golf Course, and I'm like, man, this golf course is brutal. Like, I can see now why customers are like, yeah, there's no way. Like, I'm like, so how do I sell a product that I wouldn't buy? I wouldn't buy this product. So, the fairways were yellow, the greens weren't maintained. I mean, good luck putting on some of those greens. It's going to look like a, Plinko or something like that. It's all over the map. So I'm back out in the field. I got to figure out the pitch, for this crazy campaign. And I knock on a door, and a woman answers the door and says, oh, well, that sounds great. I'll buy that promotion. And I'm like, ma'am, have you been to this golf course? Do you know what I'm talking about here? She goes, oh yeah, it's down on such and such a corner. I'm like, yeah, that's the one. I'm like, why would you want to buy this promotion? Right? Kind of talk about a terrible sales rep, but hey, listen, I need conviction, right? And I need integrity, so just follow me on the story. She says, well, my husband golfs all the time. I'd like to golf with him, but he's not going to take me to his golf course. So I need to practice. I need to find a golf course where I can kind of hack it up a little bit. And, I think Golden West Golf Course is probably the place to do that. Wouldn't you agree? I'm like, heck yeah, I would agree with that for sure. All of a sudden, a little switch happens in my mind, and I'm like, that's the demographic that I'm looking for. I'm looking for beginners. I'm looking for somebody that wants to golf with their husband or wife, but needs some beginner type of course to hack up. And all of a sudden, my pitch completely changed and evolved. As I'm talking to even customers in the field that are good golfers, I'm like, oh yeah, you're a good golfer. Listen, you're probably not going to want to go to the Golden West. I'm like, yeah, I don't want to go to the Golden West. Do you have any kids, or do you have anybody that you want to learn, but instead of coming to your golf course, you want to send them to Golden West? Actually, as a matter of fact, yeah, my 10-year-old, this would be a great course for them. I'm like, exactly. And so now me as a sales rep in the field, I am selling with conviction. This golf course is perfect for people that want to hack up a course, right? I mean, it's not a beautiful golf course by any means, but now I have integrity and I have conviction as a salesperson in the field. I remember being in Minnesota with Gareth, and Gareth is superb at sales, right? He's one of the best salespeople I've ever seen in the field. And so it was interesting, again, back to conviction. He goes, Jamie, did you know in the state of Minnesota, all the first responders need AT&T? They have to have AT&T. They don't have T-Mobile. They don't have Verizon. They've got AT&T. So again, talk about conviction as a sales rep. Like, this service, right, AT&T service, is what the first responders use, right? So it's got to be one of the best services, if not the best service. Otherwise, again, a first responder wouldn't dare have this product in their hand. You need this product. Again, conviction makes you an unbelievable salesperson. Not just, again, I'm committed. Listen, I'm committed to going on the field, doing a great job. No, I'm convicted. I think I'm doing customers a favor in the field. Different level. There was a time in my career as an owner that I lacked commitment and conviction when I'm interviewing and prospecting, new recruits for my business. Like, especially every time I saw a USC grad, right? I'm looking at the resume. I'm like, oh, you graduated from USC. You're a Trojan. You're not going to want to work here. there's so many great jobs you can get. Like, why would you want to come work with me? Why would you want to do door to door, right? Like, again, talk about a bad attitude, or talk about, Jamie, you've got no chance of making a sale, if you want to look at that as a sale. Like, no way are you going to attract anybody to your business thinking like that. And what was interesting is, as a new owner, I had several ex-employees reach out to me, thanking me for the experience and thanking me for what I did for them. And I'm scratching my head. I'm like, I didn't do anything for you. I didn't help you cross the finish line. I didn't help you become an owner. I failed you. And it's like, no, actually, I learned some great skills. You equipped me with some amazing skills, from goal setting, salesmanship, leadership. Like, Jamie, you've got a fantastic training program. And all of a sudden now, as a recruiter, I'm convicted. I'm like, man, I've got some value to offer people. My business has big value for new recruits. Now I'm looking at the Trojans coming in. I'm like, dude, you'd be lucky to work here. Talk about a change of attitude. Talk about, again, interest, commitment, or conviction. When I was convicted that I've got a great business, that I'm adding value to people, whether they're here for a season or whether they're here for a career, man, I'm offering a lot of value to you. And so that conviction really translated into amazing results. And I'll finish with a little Tony Robbins story. So I've been to several Tony Robbins seminars. If you have not signed up, please sign up while Tony Robbins is still alive. Don't miss out. This man is amazing. His conferences are amazing. And so, Tony's always great at bringing some unbelievable guests on stage to give some powerful testimonies. And I'll never forget, he brings this guy on stage who, his career, he was a carpenter. Okay, so he never made a lot of money. And yet this carpenter was this big CEO of this big insurance company. So how'd you go from a carpenter to a guy who's running a huge insurance business? And this guy's story was like, listen, my wife was the breadwinner in our marriage, okay? And she passed away. I mean, as tragic of an event as that was, it's compounded with the fact that we had a certain lifestyle and there was no life insurance for my wife, and I lost it all. And so he decided to get into the life insurance business. And as he was a new salesperson talking to people, again, think about it here. You've got this carpenter guy who's now engaging in sales, probably not a natural with it, right? I mean, he's, again, a tradesman. Now he's a salesperson. But as he's talking to people, he's looking at people like, if you only knew what I knew, if you only went through what I went through, you would buy this. He had unbelievable, commitment and unbelievable conviction because he went through hell. And so he's trying to save people from going through that kind of agony. And as he was just an unbelievable salesperson, unbelievable recruiters, he brought people into his insurance business and went big time, right? So interest will just really lead to mediocrity. Commitment will lead to greatness. And I'm just telling you this, conviction is going to lead to excellence. It's going to lead to outstanding results. So that's what I have for you guys here today.